Texting 856734109er. Good evening. Welcome to a late night edition here in the Mid-Sac on a Tip 'em Back Tuesday. Well, it's a Man Up Monday / Tip 'em Back Tuesday. We're in the witching hour here in the Mid-Sac. It was a gorgeous day here in the Commonwealth. Reached a high of about 85. Very, 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 very few little white puffy things in the sky. Mostly sunny all day, and of course I was stuck in the office. Go figure. Anyway, welcome to IDD. For those of you in the know, I don't disagree. For those of you who have just discovered the meaning of life. I'm the Redoubtable One himself, or actually the Redoubtable One himself is not here because he's probably asleep. But I think is going to return on Wednesday, so we hope to have him back in here for some spirited banter. The Redoubtable One, Tom Izzo. To you, Tommy, sleep well, my friend. I am the highly questionable one, Arjun Miliaccio, and highly questionable indeed being up this late. But look, when your team is doing what my team is doing, how do you sleep, especially in playoff time? So first, segment one, obviously going to be all things NBA playoffs. The Knicks and the Golden State Warriors, defending world champion Golden State Warriors, have been pushed to the brink as Miami and LA have grabbed a stranglehold of the respective series, both up 3-1 after tonight's wins. Both contests were competitive, but the better game was obviously Golden State, LA. That one went back and forth. Great play by Curry and some kid named Lonnie Walker IV, who was drafted out of Miami by San Antonio back in 2018. He's a young buck, 24 years old. Well, I'll tell you right now, that boy earned his paycheck tonight in the fourth quarter, carrying the Lakers across the finish line in the face of a Steph Curry triple-double. By the way, where was Klay Thompson? Because he seemed to disappear. I think he only had, I believe, Klay. I think, because I sent out a missing persons, an MIA for him. I believe Klay Thompson, 9 points for Splash Brother number 2. Number 2 would be appropriate tonight. Number two. Klay Thompson, no show. Anyway, that ultimately is what was Golden State's demise. As great as Steph Curry is, one man can't do it alone. LA had 3 guys over 20 points, and none of them were named Lonnie Walker, who took over in the fourth. It was Reeves, it was James, and it was Anthony Davis. Golden State had Curry at 31, Wiggins had 17, and then nobody else had more. Well, Peyton the third had 15. DiVincenzo had 10 off the bench, but not enough. Not enough in what was a heck of a game, seesaw battle back and forth. But in the last minutes, when Curry needed his brother, his splash brother number 2, he was nowhere to be found. So, yeah, LA now has a 3-1 lead. Miami took care of business down in South Beach tonight, upending the Knicks 109-101. Buckets at the forefront of the attack again. I believe. He had, where was he? Buckets, those damn buckets. Buckets 27. Adebayo, probably his best game of the playoffs, 23 and 13. And they got 15 from Lowry off the bench and Martin 10, so their bench contributed too. The bench actually 25, 30, 32 points from the Miami bench. New York's bench was a paltry 10 points, so if you want to look for a difference, there you go. Brunson, again, another great game. Well, 32 points. R.J. Barrett, again, showing up, 24. Randall had, 20, and he shot pretty well, 20 and 9, but he fouled out on a stupid foul, driving the basket. Look, if you have 5 fouls, A, you're supposed to know you have 5 fouls, and B, the last thing you do when you have 5 fouls is put your head down and go into oncoming traffic in the paint there when they're just waiting to get that charge on you. This is where a pull-up jump shot is key, boys and girls, a mid-range game. And John Randall doesn't have one, or Julius Randall, and it cost him tonight dearly. Now, that game was really 5 to 9 points most of the night. I was texting with the Redoubtable One himself, and the fixture, Joel, was on there too at times. And I get Tom's frustration on this because the Knicks, when they did get a stop, they shot themselves in the foot. Either they didn't rebound and gave up an offensive rebound for another turn, or they turned the ball over and do something stupid. They didn't play smart basketball. Believe me, I know a little bit about this. So I get Tom's frustration. Because the Knicks were in that game and had chances to tie it up and have a shot, but they could never get out of their own way. There was a play late in the game where the guy swooped in, got an offensive rebound. I get the big man's name, but he dropped it off his foot out of bounds when they had a chance. He probably would have had a putback dunk or a lay-in to cut it to 5 with about 2 minutes to go. It's still a game, but this clown doesn't protect the ball, bounces it off his knee or something, goes out of bounds, something like that. And that play summed up the whole night for the Knicks. Just missed opportunity after missed opportunity and self-inflicted wounds, which as a fan drives you nuts. Look, if your opponent beats you, okay. But if you beat yourself, that's the stuff that you can't, that drives you. Well, because professionals aren't supposed to do that. Not that they don't make mistakes. You're not going to make every shot. You're going to have some turnover. I get it. But some of the stuff they were doing was just very easily avoidable. And I understand Tom's rage on this because, yes, that's the Boston Celtics in a nutshell. Everything is pretty much self-inflicted with them. And we'll get to them in a minute. But back to the Knicks and the Heat. Look, conventional wisdom would tell you that at 3-1, these two series, and them and the Lakers are over. It's over. Both of them are over because it is so difficult to come back from 3-1 down. LeBron James pulled it off once in the finals with the aid of the NBA suspending Draymond Green, so he had some help. I think there have been a couple of others, but the biggest one for me is the Celtics in '81 en route to their first title when they were playing Philly, ironically. And they were down 3-1. And Larry Bird spearheaded a 3-1 comeback that resulted in a 7-game win and resulted in Bird's first and the team's 14th world championship. So can it happen? Yeah. But you have to have a guy like Larry Bird or Steph Curry or guys like that or LeBron or and look, the Knicks have a lot of talent, young talent. I don't know that anyone on that roster falls into that category. Never mind the fact they're playing against a Miami team that is battle tested, has much more experience in the playoffs than this Knicks team does. They were in the conference finals last year in one game, minutes, really seconds from maybe going to the finals themselves because Boston shot themselves in the foot again and left the door open. Jimmy Butler had a shot to win it and he missed it. But so they were close. And this year, had they not been injured and banged up, they would not have been a 7 seed or an 8 seed. They were the 7 seed and lost the play and ended up being the first one. They had to win, to get in at the 8th seed on the elimination game. They beat Chicago. But that's a very tough team that's well coached. And even with Tyler Hero out and New York still possessing... See, here's the thing. And Thibodeau knows this, and he's a good coach. As is Steve Kerr. If I'm those two coaches, all I'm saying is, look, get Game 5. It's at home. Get Game 5. Because then all the pressure is on the opponent to close it in 6. Because Game 7's in your house in both cases. So if I am Tom Thibodeau and I'm Steve Kerr tomorrow morning, I'm saying, look, just let's get Game 5. That's it. Don't talk about anything else. I don't want to hear about odds. Just get Game 5. You get Game 5. It is a series. And now the team that has all the pressure is on them to close you out. Because the last thing that the Lakers and the Heat want to do are go back to Oakland and go back to NYC, go back to Madison Square Garden. That is the last thing on earth they want to do. So put the pressure on them. This is the great thing about the playoffs. This is why the NHL playoffs are so riveting. The Bruins were up 3-1 and lost the series. And they were the better team. And they lost the series. And they had home ice through the whole thing. They had games 5 and 7 on their ice, and they lost them both. Because once you win that Game 5, the pressure ratchets up. So put the pressure on them. Put the pressure on them. See what happens. Okay, get to Game 6, and let's roll the dice. If both these teams win Game 5, which trust me, New York and Golden State are both capable of winning Game 5. Okay, and getting this to 6, that sets up 2 Game 6s that I personally would want to see. Okay? Because I think that if you put those teams in those positions, you just never know. You just never know. So put them there. Make them think about it. Just one game at a time. Don't bow out in Game 5 because you don't want to go back down there for Game 6 and lose it on there 4. That's pathetic. If that's your mentality, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. You shouldn't be in that sport in the first place, or any sport for that matter, if that's your mentality. Your mentality should be, and I'm pretty sure both these coaches are going to say this tomorrow morning, if they haven't said it already, is look, all right, this is a 7-game series. Let's get Game 5. Let's just get Game 5, and then we'll talk. Okay? Let's get Game 5. I want to come back here for a Game 6. I want to put these guys under and let's see what they do. Put the pressure on them. This is the beauty of this, and this is what makes the playoffs so riveting, is you can do this, and these things can happen. Both these teams are capable of pushing this to a 7th game. Whether they want to believe it or not, whether Tom wants to believe it, he's going to tell me what I tell him, the Knicks are too stupid. Well, let's find out. Let's find out. The Knicks aren't losing because of lack of talent. They're not. They're losing because of up here. The reason why the Celtics are in their mess, which leads us to this. Look, I've had 24 hours now to stew over this, as I'm sure most of Massachusetts has, most of Celtic Nation has. On paper, the Celtics got the split. They got home court back. Michigan. That was what they had to do. They did what they had to do. What's frustrating about them is that, and I said this last show about how Tatum ran out of gas last year. That was the consensus opinion because he played too much, was playing too much. And I contested then, and I'll say it again, he played 4 more games than he had to before he got to the finals last year. That's why he ran out of gas. Take those 4 games off the table. That's 4 intense playoff games, I might add, deciding games, elimination games, if you will. And you have arrested Tatum in the finals, and then tell me what he does then. A lot of those mistakes maybe don't happen. But they overextended themselves. Now look, you can sit there and tell me, and this is what Jason Tatum will say, because he's going to toe the line, he's going to back his coach, and I respect that. Look, I train for this, we train for this, I'm a professional athlete, more basketball doesn't bother me, it's what I do. Okay, fine. But the reality is, we have a saying in the real world, Jason. It's work smarter, not harder. Okay? Work smarter, not harder. Okay? If you can put a team down in 5 games, as opposed to going 7, where, by the way, not only do you risk getting gassed or running out of, you risk injury. The more you play, the more there's a chance somebody's going to get hurt. Okay? So it's twofold. Okay? It's not just about getting R&R, rest. It's about staying healthy. Self-preservation here. You got a center named Rob Williams III who gets hurt getting out of bed in the morning. Why would you want to extend this and risk that? He got hurt diving into the bench for a loose ball. Thought he tore a tendon in his arm for it. Now he didn't, but he thought he did. Okay? So there's a myriad of reasons why you don't want this to go 7, but right now it's probably going 7. Okay? Just like the Atlanta series, which should have been a sweep, went 6, because these guys don't take care of business. And yesterday was a microcosm of their season. Okay? Jaylen Brown gets 2 fouls early, and rather than contest the second one, which Wendy on ESPN echoed my statements that was a bogus call and he should have challenged it, but it was early in the game and you don't want to do that. Well, here's the problem with not doing it. 1, if you had done it, he probably would have won, and 2, because of that, and Missoula didn't want to take Jaylen Brown out of the game because he was hot, he took him off James Harden, who then proceeded to get comfortable. Just like he got comfortable in game 1 when Jaylen Brown wasn't guarding him then either. And look what happened. Well, look what happened yesterday. Okay? And if you were going to still take Jaylen Brown off him, why weren't you double teaming this guy every screen and roll and then running a helper to the screener to take that away? You don't let the whole key to Philadelphia's offense is James Harden. I don't care what Joel Embiid does. It doesn't matter against the Celtics. He can't beat them by himself. History will tell you that. If Joe Mazzulla is half the coach he thought he was, he'd know that. When he scores 30-something points and the supporting cast does nothing, he's like 1-10 against them. And the one he has is the game he had 52 and Jaylen Brown and Al Horford didn't play. So if he goes off for 35 and 15, he ain't going to beat you doing that if you shut the other guys down. So shut the other guys down. Look, I said it before, when this Tucker dude scores 35, I'll shut up. Make him score 35. Make that clown beat you. Make P.J. Tucker score 35 points. I want to see it. When I see it, then I'll shut up. Until then, he's guilty until proven innocent. But make him beat you. Double team Harden every freaking time. Make him uncomfortable. You can do that without Jaylen Brown. You can put Jason Tatum on him. He's an excellent defender. He's even taller. And Marcus Smart. Didn't that guy win Defensive Player of the Year? I mean, Craig, you got guys you can throw at him and you can double team him. Why do you keep leaving him in one-on-one ISOs against Al Horford or the Time Lord? These are matchups you know you're going to lose. The tape shows you this. You didn't need Game 4 to know this. You saw it in Game 1 where this happened. One tape should have been enough. Where even if Jaylen Brown gets in foul trouble, you don't let that happen again. That was mistake number one, letting Harden get comfortable. And the excuse is, well, Jaylen Brown got 2 fouls early. Well, then you should have contested the second one because it was bogus and everybody with a pair of eyes knew it. And if you weren't going to contest it, the double team should have come from other people and get the ball out of his hands with a double team either way and don't let him get it back. Make P.J. Tucker beat you. Let the rotation fall to P.J. Tucker shooting bombs. Let him beat you. Fine. I'm not going to eat your lunch for that. Tip your cap to him. That's what you're supposed to do. But you didn't do that. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two, obviously, was Jaylen Brown. Okay, well, the timeouts. The timeouts. This is coaching 101. And I'm getting sick and tired of these fucking shamrock glass wearing, they're the Patriot version of Bill Belichick scrotum scrubbers. They're the shamrock shakers, I call them. These fucking delusional fucking, it's always sunny and 75 out, and who are you to criticize this team? Can you do better? All this bullshit. Shut your fat, old age, middle age, whatever it is, ass up. When you're a fan of a team for over 40 fucking years, okay, and you played and coached the game, okay, because I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen, if you know anything about sports, the game is played the same at every level. The difference is the talent level. But the way the game is played and won is still the same. The rules are the same by and large. The parameters of the playing surface are the same by and large. Okay, it's about the talent level. The game is still won and lost the same as it is in third grade as it is at the NBA level, with defense and fundamentals. That does not change. The rim is 10 feet high, the foul line is 15 feet out, and there's a three-point line out there lurking somewhere. Only other difference is the talent level, but the game is still the same. And if you played in college and you coached high school and AAU, and you're a fan of that team, you're damn right you can criticize them all day long and 10 times on Sunday. So fuck you. Okay? It's not about being a negative Nancy. It's about this team blowing opportunities and setting themselves up for disaster. The idea is to maximize your opportunities, and as a coach, your job is to put your team in the best position to win. Common sense 101. If you're down one and you have 15 seconds to go and you have 2 timeouts, would you rather have 1 shot at this to win it or potentially 2 or 3? It's simple math. Do I want 1 shot at it or do I want 2 or 3? If I have the ability to do either one, which one am I going to choose? Common sense tells you you want as many opportunities, cracks at it as you can get. You don't have to be a coach to know that. It's just common fucking sense. And if you don't believe me, turn on Magic Johnson, the greatest fucking point guard who ever lived, who also questioned Mazzola's lack of timeouts. And Kendrick Perkins, who won a ring for Boston in 2008, he was a starter. Yeah, those two don't know what the fuck they're talking about, do they? Okay, so it's just me? Okay? No, people that played this game that are better than Joe Mazzulla, no one's going to tell me. No one is going to tell me that Joe Mazzulla knows more about basketball than Magic Johnson. No one. No one. Okay? Joe Mazzulla didn't play in the NBA, number one. Joe Mazzulla doesn't have a ring as a player. Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard that ever lived. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird changed the game. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird saved the NBA. Magic Johnson's opinion matters here. Magic Johnson was the definition of coach on the floor. That's what him and Larry Bird were. They were coaches on the floor. Okay? And if you're going to stand there and dismiss Magic Johnson, you have lost your right to an opinion when it comes to this. Because you are certifiably insane if you think Joe Mazzulla knows more about basketball than Magic Johnson. What are you smoking and who's your dealer? Give me his number, please. Common sense 101. 15 seconds ago, you call timeout. You inform your team that you, by the way, and this went public, you warned them not to fall in love with the 3. What were the last 2 shots they took at the end of regulation and at the end of overtime? It was a 3-pointer by Marcus Smart. Okay? They didn't need a 3-pointer in either scenario. But they took 3s. Why? Because that's what they do. Okay? That's why you call a timeout number 1, is to tell the team, look, hey guys, we don't need a 3 here. We need a high percentage shot. If we can get it in the paint with all the fucking slashers we have, then let's do that. Because maybe we get fouled and go to the foul line if we don't make the shot if we're being aggressive. Don't settle for the lowest percentage shot in the sport when you don't even need it. That's common sense 101. Number 2, you tell the players, look, you go early. So if you miss, you have a chance at an offensive rebound, a putback, or if they go, we foul them, clock stops. If they go to the line and make 2, we're down 3. We still have a crack at this. That's why you call a timeout, you stupid motherfuckers. And you know who I'm talking to, too. You fucking shamrock shaking, these fucking green glass wearing idiots How dare you? Who the hell are you? You? Me? You? Who the hell are you to criticize Joe Mazzulla? What the fuck has Joe Mazzulla done to avoid criticism? Is he a head coach? In any sport, if you're a head coach, criticism 101, it's going to happen. If you don't understand that, don't take the fucking job. Because that's what a coach is there for, to take those bullets. And if the bullets, if you shot yourself with them, then you better damn well stand there and take them. And Joe Mazzulla, by the way, later on, yesterday, today, whatever day it is now, said, in hindsight, thinking about it twice, he should have taken that approach differently. That's, by the way, has come out since Magic and Kendrick Perkins and everybody else who has a brain on sport and basketball has blasted him for this. Okay? Everybody is blasting him for this. I don't care, Windy, Brian Windhorst, they got the matchup they wanted. Who gives a fuck? They got one shot at it, and the shot was a 3. They didn't need a 3, okay? And if you have a chance, again, do you want one shot at it, or do you want 2 or 3? If I'm a coach, my job is to set my team up for success. That's to get them as many chances as I can get. If that means I call a timeout, I call a freaking timeout. And in that scenario, that's why you do it. Because clearly they didn't realize they didn't need a 3 because that's what they settled for. And the other thing, Jaylen Brown blew his assignment and left James Harden, who, by the way, you let get hot, Joe Mazzulla, because you wouldn't double team him and get the ball out of his hands. He was 5 for 8 from the arc when Jaylen had a brain fart, ran down to double team Joel Embiid in a 2-point game. If he gets a 2-pointer, the game is tied. You can still win it on the other end. You don't leave a guy who's 5 for 8 from the arc open in the corner, who's already got 40 fucking points. That right there. If I'm a coach and I see my guy blow that assignment, all right, these guys they don't have their wits about it. I'm calling timeout. I'm stopping this right now. I'm waking them up. That right there should have told him to call timeout. Because that's a no-brainer, and Jaylen Brown fucked that up. Okay, Jaylen Brown admitted he fucked it up. Oh, boy, let's give him a cookie. Thanks, Jaylen. Thanks for admitting you fucked up again. I'm getting real tired of you admitting how much you fuck up, Jaylen. For everything you are, and you're a great player, okay? How many fucking free throws do you got to brick before you decide you're going to sleep in the gym until you can't miss a free throw? Because that's the other thing yesterday. They missed 6 foul shots. They lost by a point. If they miss 3, they win. Fundamentals, young players. Funda-fucking-mentals. Okay? I'm getting tired of this team shooting itself in the fucking foot and getting a pass for it. Don't let them be the Boston Bruins. You want to talk to a pissed-off fan base right now? Go talk to the Boston fucking Bruins fan base right now. I want to hear about what a good season they had. I don't believe for 1 second there's a satisfied Boston Bruin fan right now up in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I believe there's an angry one. I believe there's a bitter one. I believe there's a what the fuck. How many goddamn years do I got to watch this shit one? You know why? Because they give them a pass every time they fuck up like this. And the Boston Celtics fans, the real ones, don't. They call them on it because they know what their potential is. This team, I said it 2 weeks ago, I'll say it again, this team should win the championship this year. They should have won it last year, but they blew it because they got stupid. Okay? Because they couldn't get out of their own way because they were too arrogant. Too arrogant, too stubborn, too stupid. I said it before and I'll say it again, and it cost them again yesterday. And that includes their fucking coach. Oh, I don't believe in the timeout. I'm going to trust my guys. Fuck you! After what Jaylen Brown did, how can you sit there and say I trust my guys? After Jaylen Brown blew that fucking assignment, which was a no-brainer, how can you say I trust my guys? That right there, coming from your second or first, whatever you want, he's 1A or 1B, whatever he is. He's one of your top 2 players. He's all NBA, at least he should be. He's one of the top 15 players in the world, Jaylen Brown. If he's fucking making a mistake like that, don't give me the I trust my players bullshit, Joe Mazzulla. Your job as a coach is to rein him in when that shit's happening. That's why you get paid. To check them. Not to sit there and go, I trust my guys. Fuck you and you trust my guys. That's bullshit. Bullshit. And if these guys don't want to be coached, then fuck them. Because you know what? You need to be their coach right now, not their friend. That's the fucking problem. Well, Joe has developed. You should read the story on this guy. Oh, you should the relationships he's developed with them, the playing of the chess and the ping pong. You're their fucking coach. Doesn't mean you don't care about them, but there's a line there, and you got to know where it is. And that line exists for shit like this. When you got to check them and go, hey, hold on, I'm in charge here. Okay, time out. Let's regroup. Here's what we're going to do. Jalen, don't let me fucking ever see you make a mistake like that again. You're too fucking good of a player. Okay, you better not have cost us this fucking game. You better fucking get it back on this end, Jalen. That's what you fucking do. Not milking cookies and, oh, I trust my guys and I'm gonna fuck you. That's why this series is not over. They should have swept this fucking team. They have gift-wrapped 2 games. And now you've given a team with not one, but 2 MVPs on it, hope. And their coach is better than your coach. And that's the fucking truth. Okay? So I'm getting sick and tired of you fucking shamrock-shaking, green-eyed glass motherfuckers, my brother Pete among them, with this bullshit. Okay? This series should not have gone 7 games. But it's probably going to go 7 now, unless, of course, the Celtics poop themselves tomorrow night, which, by the way, is possible. They've done it before. Tomorrow night, Jason Tatum. Don't wait till the end of the first half to start playing. Tomorrow night, Jaylen Brown. Okay, if you have 2 fouls early, fuck that. You tell Mazzulla I'm staying on him anyway. Or you better double team this son of a bitch and get the ball out of his hands if you're not going to put me on him. Tomorrow night, Boston Celtics, do not settle for the fucking 3 when you need a 2. You go down the fucking lane and you put the pressure on this team because every time Joel Embiid has to go to the bench with foul, because by the way, you can get Joel Embiid in foul trouble. He likes to try to block shots. Dictate, be the aggressor, put that man. All you do is get 2 fouls on him and he's out of the game. He's out of the game. That team shrinks 3 levels because they got nobody to back him up. Nobody. Okay? So be aggressive, be determined, and don't beat these guys tomorrow night. Bury them tomorrow night. Okay? Because then maybe you go to game 6 and they're like, these guys have blown us out 3 times. Blow them the fuck out tomorrow night. I want to see a 20-plus point victory tomorrow night from Boston. Because then I'll know, like, all right, we fucked up enough of this shit. We're done with this fucking team. We're going to put them down. And it's not going to go 7. Put them the fuck down and stop fucking around. Take your heads out of your asses. Stop playing like a fucking JV high school basketball team from the Tri-Valley fucking league. Oh, yeah, the Tri-Valley League, yeah. Okay? And stop fucking playing like a champion. Because that's what you're supposed to be. There's 17 fucking banners up there, boys. Your name ain't on any of them. Okay? And until you get one, you're not getting a pass from me. Okay? And I was right on this. And if you don't believe me, ask Magic. Segment 2 coming back, baseball. Yeah, that sport. See you on the other side. Get it done. Celtics, get it done or go home.